This is Sue Jackson of the Book by Book blog, here with another Friday Reads. I'm really enjoying my books this week and still completely engrossed in Big Book Summer. This is an annual challenge that I host every year. It's basically just a chance to read some of those bigger books that maybe you've been putting off because you feel like they're too big, you never have time. So the idea is anything over 400 pages counts as a big book. And you set the goals yourself, whether you want to read one or two, or do like I do and choose a stack of big books to choose from during the summer. However you want to do it is completely up to you. And you have until early September. So there is still plenty of time to join the fun. Besides me and my husband, there are a lot of other people participating. You can participate in different ways through a blog, through Booktube, through Goodreads if you don't have either a blog or Booktube. However you like, you can participate, and it's a lot of fun. The group provides a lot of camaraderie to each other and encouragement and excitement over the books that we're reading. So I hope you'll look into it. I'll include details down below, my Big Book Summer introduction video, as well as the sign-up page on my blog. So I am currently reading my 5th big book of the summer, The Air You Breathe by Frances DuPont Peebles. This is historical fiction, and like many of my big books that I set aside for the challenge, it's been on my shelf for way too long. I think I was sent this in 2018 as a review book, back when I was reviewing for Shelf Awareness. The way they did things, you got several books to choose from, and I was interested in this one, but it is a bigger book, so I didn't choose it that month because I didn't have the time. But I set it aside. I knew I wanted to read it. That was 3 years ago, and I'm finally getting to it. This is what I like about Big Book Summer. This one was actually on my 2020 Big Book Summer stack, but I didn't get to it. So I'm very glad to be reading it now because it's a wonderful book. It is the story of two women who share a very intense friendship throughout their whole lives. The two main characters first meet as 9-year-old girls from very, very different backgrounds. Graça is the little miss of a sugar plantation that her father owns. Her family has just taken over the plantation. Graça comes from a very wealthy, pampered kind of upbringing. One might say spoiled. And when she moves onto the plantation, she is really fascinated by Dorish, who is the kitchen girl, or a kitchen girl. Now, Dorish is the exact opposite. She's not only a servant. The other servants consider her the lowest among them because she's very young and she's an orphan. So Dorish has never really known love or affection, or even just the freedom of childhood play. She's grown up working all the time. So when Graça comes to the plantation, she's bored and she sees this other little girl her same age. She demands that Dorish play with her, and her mother agrees to keep her happy. So she allows Dorish time out of the kitchen to play with Graça. And the two girls become best friends. They run all over the plantation together. And after Graça's mother takes the two of them to a concert in the city and then buys them a record player and a stack of records, and later the family gets a radio as well, the two girls become obsessed with music. They are both enamored of it from the moment they hear those first notes in the concert. So as teens, the two girls run away together to Rio to try to make their dreams come true. They want to be singers that can be heard on the radio. At the time, that's like I didn't mention, it begins in 1930s Brazil. So they run away to Rio to follow their dreams. Of course, it's a lot more difficult than they expected. The two of them encounter a lot of challenges together, but throughout their lives, they can never quite completely shed those original roles of, the spoiled rich girl who needs to be pampered and the loyal companion. So that it makes for a really interesting relationship between the two of them. This novel is warm and moving, filled with both joys and sorrows. There is just so much emotion here. And at the center of it all is music. I'm really enjoying it. My only wish is that I could listen to it on audio with a full representation of all the music that's mentioned in it, because it's the center of the story. And, I keep running to the internet to look up, what a samba sounds like and things like that. So I'm really loving this. I'm almost to the end now. The Air You Breathe by Frances DuPont Peebles. Definitely recommended for those who enjoy historical fiction. On audio this week, I am listening to Boy Swallows Universe by Trent Dalton. Very colorful cover there. And this is another big book. Audios count too. So this is number 6 for me. This is kind of weird at first. That seems to be a theme with my books this summer. But I've gotten into it now and I'm enjoying it. It's about a 12-year-old boy named Eli Bell. So Eli's mother and stepfather are heroin dealers. His older brother, who's 13, named August or Gus, is mute and doesn't speak. And Eli's best friend is an elderly felon named Slim, who's notorious for his multiple prison escapes. So you can see this is kind of an unusual kind of setup here. Each chapter kind of looks at another step in Eli's life, focusing on, the stories that Slim tells, what his mother and stepfather are doing, how he and Gus are finding out about what his mother and stepfather are doing, and inadvertently getting pulled into that life, unfortunately. I'm really enjoying it so far. I had a little bit of trouble at first with the audio. It is narrated by an Australian with a fairly thick accent. That's appropriate for the book. It makes sense, but I had a little trouble with it at first. I finally figured out those 2 mystery words that I didn't understand were the name of a rugby team. So that explains why I couldn't catch those. But now that, I'm kind of into the rhythm of it, not having any trouble at all with the audio or with understanding the narrator. And the story is really engrossing. So I'm enjoying it. That is Boy Swallows Universe by Trent Dalton. So that's what I've been reading. What are you reading this weekend? I'd love to hear about it. Let me know in the comments below. And also remember to like and subscribe. And if you're interested, join the Big Book Challenge. We'd love for you to join the fun.